The Smart Home Experience at CES 2019. I'm Tonya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Mitchell Klein, Executive Director at Z-Wave Alliance. Welcome, Mitchell.
Hi, Tonya. Glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
What is Z-Wave Alliance, and what does Z-Wave technology actually do?
That's a great question. Z-Wave Alliance, it's different. You hear about all these other technology alliances. We're a technology alliance that's really focused on go-to-market. So in other words, once our members have actually finished goods, then we, the alliance, help build the community, help get the word out, help to build momentum around Z-Wave and all the different brands. And the reason is the Z-Wave technology, as most of you will probably know, Z-Wave technology is founded on a couple of key principles, one of which is a mandate for interoperability. If you're going to build a Z-Wave, you must build within certain requirements within the software stack. So you are required to be interoperable. And that means that there's an entire ecosystem. So when a company comes to the market with a door lock or a sensor or something, they're instantly compatible with, well, at this point, over 2,600 products out in the marketplace. And they don't have to build their own ecosystem. So you don't have to build a sensor and then build a gateway and then build another sensor. You can build what you think is right, and it will fit in with the rest of the products out there. And the Alliance, we help build that community. So if you're building, and a perfect example of one of our members here at CES, it's a company out of Sweden called Sensitive. And what they do is they build these, the shape of a tongue depressor, but about half the depth of a tongue depressor. And it's a sensor. And it can be built into the door jamb of any door or in a window or something like that, which most sensors you cannot. And they excel at that. And they actually showing a couple of new products here. But I bring them up because that's what they make. And now all of a sudden they're compatible with all these other devices out there. They don't have to build their own security panels and things. So anyway, in a nutshell, that's kind of my, what the Alliance does. We're thought leaders. We talk about, the things that we're doing. We're really big on promoting the need for privacy and security. And I guess we'll get into those topics in a little bit. But that's what we do.
You're publishing a State of Z-Wave Smart Home Ecosystem report to kick off this week of CES 2019. Can you give us a preview?
Yes, actually what we're doing here is we're kind of laying out the history, because we've been doing smart home since 2001. And what this state of the industry does is it, first of all, it gives a bit of a history behind Z-Wave. So you can kind of see we're not new guys on the block. And it takes a long time to get 2,600 products out there that are interoperable. So you can obviously know that. We're talking about the history, we're talking about the achievements, things like we've grown to over 700 member companies, which is, that's pretty good, I guess you'd say. Over 2,600 certified products. We just earlier this year sold the 100 millionth smart device or chipset. And you hear numbers that are bigger than that from chip manufacturers, but those are going everywhere. We're talking about 100 million that are dedicated specifically for the smart home. These are the types of details that we put in there. We've also got some features for some of our members that are talking about what they've done, where they've gone, and about our board members, where we are on social media. It's actually a pretty interesting thing, and a lot of good graphics, because, well, I kind of can't read too much text myself. So, they do it for me. So they put lots of nice pictures in there.
IoT device and network security are hot topics right now. Explain the S2 framework and how Z-Wave devices support it.
So what's interesting, and I can definitely state this with confidence, that Z-Wave products have never been hacked before. And there is a little asterisk to that. Say, well, you're saying that. Well, it's been hacked when we've actually given the keys, if you will, to it. So we've always had security. I think it's important to understand. We called it S0 because it was really out there, and it was always mandated for access devices, but it wasn't mandated for sensors and light switches and thermostats and things. We launched the S2 protocol and mandated it that as of April 2nd, 2017, any new device submitted for certification must have implemented S2 security. And of course, there's 3 different levels of S2 security. One is for access devices, which you can imagine has the greatest amount of security, and is really built on the AES 128 infrastructure. on a TLS1 tunnel. So when it goes back and forth between, if you want to call it through the internet, it has very, very tight level security. This is what Apple mandates for their products as well. So, and again, I'm sure as your listeners will know when they talk about these things that, that's quite tightly secure. The mandates are a little less restrictive for things like sensors because obviously they're not as vulnerable, but there's still S2 must be implemented in every single device that went in for certification since April 2nd of last year. Well, I guess it's 2 years ago now because it's 2019, I guess. And since then, we've had over 250 products shipped into the marketplace with S2 security. So it's pretty cool.
We've all had to learn to adjust to a world full of connected devices, and that does not exclude insurance companies. How are they looking at IoT in the home?
This is a really, I would say, huge opportunity, enormous opportunity for everybody, for insurance companies, for homeowners, and for device manufacturers. It's the classic win across the board, should it be done correctly. And so insurance companies, obviously, their concept, they're betting that you're not going to have any risk, that you're not going to have any problems in your home. You're betting that you are, and that's why you buy the insurance. And that's that, the high level concept. What we want to be able to do with the technology is mitigate the risk exposure for both homeowners as well as the insurance providers. And the best example, we've already seen what happens when homeowners put security systems, burglar alarm systems in their home. This has been something that's been available to homeowners for a long time. And you get some type of a discount, and the insurance company knows the chances of break-in have been reduced because you got a security system in the home. Well, that concept also works for something like flood and water issues. So water payouts by the insurance companies are by far their number one exposure. It's not their number one claim, but it's their number one exposure. Anyone who's ever had water damage in the home knows it's insidious. You got a pipe from your dishwasher that's 20 years old, and it just simply ruptures and it just starts leaking. And you don't know about it until it's already done enormous damage, whether it's in your home or in a multi-dwelling unit. And technology now, you've got all different types and brands of flood sensors and water sensors and shutoff valves, so that insurance companies at this point have been very seriously looking at and testing, putting in shutoff valves and flood sensors throughout the home, so that it can sense. Let's just say you've got a 10-year-old water heater. It starts to slowly leak. You're not going to know about this until either you go into the basement or significant damage is done. The water sensor basically says, hey, wait a minute, water is here, it shouldn't be here. And if you've put in a shutoff valve, it will send a notice over to the shutoff valve and shut it off, which, by the way, a number of our members make these shutoff valves that you can install yourself without a plumber, or you can do the type where you cut the pipe and put a shutoff valve in. Companies like Dome and Eslo are making these things. So even if you don't put the shutoff valve, at least you can get a notification that says, hey, there's water here, get down here, turn the water off. And in reality, if you put these flood sensors behind anything with water, your dishwasher, your sinks, your toilets, anything with water, the cost is pretty minimal. For under $600. You've got everything covered. And so we've been working with insurance companies and some of our members kind of as the middle folks to try and put the two together to say, let's put a program together. And there are some insurance regulations I won't get into now that is making this happen a little slower than everyone would like, but we know it's all eventual.
Z-Wave is hosting a huge smart home experience at CES 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it and some of the Z-Wave partners that are contributing to this experience.
So we're sitting here at the Sands Hotel, the Sands Convention Center, with over 5,000 square foot exhibit right in the front of the smart home section. We've got over 30 members with their own little pods, their pods actually displaying product. And we also have the Z-Wave Experience House, which is actually a home we can walk you through. And the purpose of this house is to actually demonstrate the fact that we've got all of these products that are interoperable, compatible, and are working together to all these different brands. And bear me if I get my cheat sheet, but you got companies like Abode, who's launched their brand new gateway. We're working with Google Assistant, for voice control. We've got Dana Lock with their brand new door locks coming in, Dome, water sensors, Nortec with their security panels and their garage door openers, Residio, which is the new spin-off from Honeywell, Nexia with their train products, First Alert, Sensitive, Jasco, and a few others. And I hope I don't miss anyone. They're going to get mad. But you can imagine with over 30 companies, or I can't remember what everybody's doing, but it's pretty
Mitchell,
enormous.
they're just going to have to come out and check out the experience themselves, I'm
They
sure.
are.
In fact, if somebody wants to connect with you, maybe Mitchell, they want to find out more about what you're doing, how can they do that?
Well, there's two ways. You can always email me. It's Mitch, M-I-T-C-H, at zwavealliance.org. There's a hyphen, so Z-wave. You can always go at Mitchell_Klein and tweet at me. Or if you happen to be hanging around CES when you're watching this, come on down to the Sands. I don't have to give you a booth number. Just go to the smart home. You can't miss us. We're right there in front.
All right, that's Mitchell Klein, Executive Director of Z-Wave Alliance, and check him out at CES. And if you want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or go to my website, tonyahall.net. I've got links to all my social sites. Thanks for watching.